Good day, everyone. So let me introduce myself. I am Devan Zamora Mantiquilla, first year student taking up Bachelor of Physical Education. So someone asked me why did I take up education instead of taking psychology, doctor, accountancy. It's because I found love in teaching, and of course, I'd like to share my talent, which is related to my course, and I believe that I'm told to teach, and teaching is there's a lot of benefits and privileges compared to others' profession. So today I will be discussing about the rights and privileges of teachers in the Philippines. So the overview of this presentation will contain explain the rights and privileges of teachers in the Philippines. List down the rights and privileges of teachers in the Philippines and appreciate these rights and privileges. So the Philippine law that states the rights and privileges of teachers are the 1987 Philippines Constitution, Commonwealth Act number 578, and the RA 4670, Magna Carta for Public Schools Teachers. So the Philippine law that states the right and privileges of teachers are the legal basis for the rights and privileges of Filipino teachers. So the 1987 Philippines Constitution enhanced the right of teachers to professional advancement and assigned the second highest budgetary priority to education and ensured that teaching will attract and retain its rightful share of the best available talents through adequate remuneration and other means of job satisfaction and fulfillment. So the Commonwealth Act number 578, Persons and Authority. This law recognizes teachers, professors, and persons charged with the supervision of public or duly recognized private schools, colleges, and universities within the term person and authority. The Commonwealth Act number 578 protects teachers by providing a provision on punishment against any person guilty of assault against teaching personnel according due respect and protection for teachers who considered person and authority. So the Commonwealth Act number 578, if any person guilty of assault may directly or indirectly upon supervisor, teachers or professor will be subjected to penalty or imprisonment ranging from 6 months and one day to 6 years and flying from 500 to 1,000 pesos. So that's my take on this. So next, the RA 4670, Magna Carta for Public School Teacher. This act shall be known as the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers and shall apply to all public school teachers except those in the professorial staff of state colleges and university. To promote and improve the social and economic status of public school teachers, their living and working conditions, their terms of employment and career prospects. So the RA 4670 signifies that this stage through the Congress or the House of Representatives the roles of teachers in the society. Hence, this realized the need to have the people who are engaged in dealing the right and privileges that would make their lives easy or provide teachers to more favorable opportunities than the Congression in the section 1, the dedication of policy, it tries to attract people to take up education and to become eventually teachers because teachers are considered are as the foundation of the society. So we would not have doctors, nurses, or architects, and so on. That's why Congress gives importance on the rights of the public schools teachers. So next, so at this moment, I will going to discuss the rights and privileges and the benefits of teachers. So there are 17 rights, privileges, and benefits that teachers uh, would taking up in profession. So first the consent of consent for transfer rather. So the section 6 consent for transportation expenses. No teacher shall be transferred without his consent from the station to another. In the exigencies of service, which requires the teacher to transfer from one station to another, may be affected by the superintendent who shall notify the teachers concerned and the reason why of transfer. Necessary transfer expenses of the teacher and her family shall be paid for the government if the transfer is finally. So I would say the teacher believed there is no justification for the transferee, and if he or she may appeal to the case of the director of public school or the director of education. Education, as the case may be pending, and his appeal and a decision there or there on his or her transfer shall be held in abeyance provided, however, that no transfer with whatever shall be made there or made in 3 months before any local or national elections. Why? It is because teachers has an important role during the elections because they serve as the members of the board of elections inspectors to ensure a smooth and clean and credible election.
Good day, everyone. I'm Beverly Montecillo and I will continue the discussion of Devan Mantiquilla, the rights, privileges, and benefits of teacher in teaching professions, which is in Chapter 4, the rights and privileges of teachers in the Philippines. So now we are here in number 3, which is no discrimination, Section 10. There shall be no discrimination whatsoever in the entrance to the teaching profession or during its exercises or in determination of service based on other than professionals' consideration. Other meaning of it is that to understand the equality and know their rights, to understand both teacher and student. Here in no discrimination, in treated unfairly and discriminated against are more likely than to have a negative attitude to school. So we are very no to discrimination here in studying. So let's proceed. Number 4, married couples to be employed in the same locality, which is in section 11, married teachers. Whenever possible, the proper authorities shall take all the steps to enable married couples, both of whom are public school teachers, to be employed in the same locality. So it means that it's very legal that the married couples are going to be work in the same place or work in the same school or locality. Number 5, which is the academic freedom, section 12. Teachers shall enjoy academic freedom in the discharge of their professional duties, particularly with regards of teaching and classroom methods. So here in academic freedom, the freedom of the teachers and students to teach, study, and pursue knowledge and research without unreasonable interference or restriction from law, institution regulation, or public pursuit. So here in freedom, academic freedom rather, students and teachers are free to know or to learn something what they really wanted to learn or have a freedom to be happy. So let's go to the next slide, which is number 6. Not more than 6 hours of actual classroom teaching, okay, which is the section 13, teaching hours. Any teachers engaged in actual classroom instruction shall not be required to render more than 6 hours of actual classroom teaching a day, which shall be so scheduled as to give him time for the preparation and correction of exercises and other works incidental to his normal teaching duties. So another explanation of it is that which is the 6 hours is the actual classroom teaching per day within the school premises, while the remaining 2 hours may be utilized to doing teaching related tasks outside in the school premises. Number 7, additional compensation. Here in section 14. Notwithstanding any provision or existing law to the contrary or co-curricular and out of school activities and any others activities outside of what is defined as the normal duties of any teacher shall be paid and additional compensation of the less 25% of his regulatory remuneration after the teacher has completed at least 6 hours of actual classroom teaching a day. So here in addition, salary is paid in exist of an employees or a teacher based salary for their effort that be performed in addition to outside or effort spent in normal job duties. So probably it shows how effort they are. So here in number 8, salaries comparable to other occupations to ensure teachers a reasonable standard for themselves and their families. So we have the section 5 criteria of salaries. So first, criteria for salaries. Teacher salaries shall correspond to the following criteria. First, they shall compare favorably with those paid in other occupation requiring equivalent or similar qualifications, training, and abilities. Number 2, they shall be such as to ensure teachers a reasonable standard of life for themselves and their families. And lastly, they shall be properly graded so as to recognize the fact that certain positions required higher qualification and greater responsibility than others, provided, however, that the general salary scale shall be such that relation between the lowest and highest salaries paid in profession will be a reasonable order. Narrowing of the salary scale shall be achieved by rising the lower end of the salary scale relative to upper end. So we have the number 9. Salaries appropriated by local government not to be less than those paid to teachers of the national government. So we have section 7, equality of salary scale. The salary scale of teachers whose salary are appropriated by city, municipal district, and or provincial government shall not be less than those provided for teachers of the national government. Number 10, cost of living allowance. Section 8, cost of living allowance teacher's salary shall, at the very least, keep pace with the rise in the cost of living by the payment of the cost of living allowance, which shall automatically follow changes in the cost of living index. So here it is the amount of the money that an employed or a teacher gives in addition to his or her normal pay, because the cost of living is particularly area is high. So Number 11, special hardship allowance, section 19. In areas in which teachers are exposed to hardship, such as difficulty in commuting to the place of work or others hazards, peculiar to the place of employment as determined by the Secretary of Education. They shall be compensated special hardship allowance equivalent to at least 25% of their month salary. So here in special hardship allowance, the teacher is that 25% of their monthly salary rather. Teachers in areas where they are exposed to hardship as determined by the Secretary of Education. So again, it is end up of my report. Again, it's Beverly Montecillo and Janisah Macasindel will continue the next report. Thank you for listening. Again, it is the end of my report. It's me, Beverly Montecillo, and Janisah Macasindel will be the next reporter. Thank you for listening.
Study leave. No teacher shall be allowed to accumulate more than 1 year study leave unless he needs an additional semester to finish his thesis for a graduate study in education or allied courses. Indefinite leave. An indefinite sick leave of absence shall be granted to teachers when the nature of the illness demands a long treatment that will exceed 1 year at the least. Salary increase upon retirement. Public school teachers having fulfilled the age and service requirements of the applicable retirement law shall be given one range salary raised upon retirement, which shall be the basis of the computation of the lump sum of the retirement pay and the monthly benefits. Freedom to establish or join organization of their choices. Public school teachers shall have the right to freely and without previous authorization both to establish and to join organizations of their choosing, whether local or national, to further defend their interests.
Globalization. The state recognized the major contributions and teachers in nurturing future leaders. State gave the rights and privileges of the teachers for their noble professions. The RA 4670, also known as the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers, Commonwealth Act number 578, and the 1987 Philippines Constitution protect the rights of the teachers like the tenure of office, academic freedom, tax relief, and other benefits. These laws serve as the guide of outer protection and freedom away from threats and termination from the concerned authorities. If you are not aware of this law, you are always threatened by the administrators or any person in authority to terminate you from work once you violate the law. Good day to each and every one of us once again, and thank you for your listening. It ends up in our report. Hopefully you learned something.
Reporters.